you grew up in a home where watching Nollywood movies was one of the top 3 mediums to have fun, the name Alaji, Yekin, Ajileye might ring a bell. His movies usually featured spirituality as a prevalent theme, witchcraft especially. His stories always revolve around religious clerics conquering women, young and old, who were believed to possess dark magical powers in which they used to oppress their communities. What we can safely call Eyaje in the Yoruba language. These movies shaped the beliefs of so many people, including myself, such that you could see an old woman seated innocently and you could flee at the thought that she's another Aje or Eleye. I was probably 7 or 8 years old when the news spread in the neighborhood that a witch had just been caught. This old woman lost her husband a few years back. Her only daughter died in a road accident with her husband. The grandchild left behind, who stayed with her, was the latest tragedy. This series of events could not have been a mistake. The old woman had to be the culprit. They took her life in a bid to stop her from wreaking another havoc. They had successfully taken down another Eleye. Later in the day, my father, who happened to be an Ifa practitioner and herbalist, said to me, Ajel Abiamo, which means every true parent is a witch. This moment marked the beginning of my learning. Eleye signifies one with a bed, or simply put, a woman with a bed. What do birds do? They build a nest, keeping their hatchlings till they are matured enough to fly. In times of danger, cold or fire, their wings serve as a protection board for the birds. The birds hide under the wings of the mother birds to feel protected. Children hide under the arms of their mothers to feel protected. Òṣòròngà, loosely translated as arch divinity or magnanimity, roots its philosophy in love and not fear. It describes a sect of women who come together to actively defend their loved ones, children, husband, friend, parents, by collective socialization, defiance, and non-conformity. Women have realized that to survive in a patriarchal society, rebellion is actively needed. In a Facebook publication dated May 21, 2022, the iconic art historian, painter and visual artist, Professor Moyo Okediji, did an etymological breakdown of the word Eleye in due reference to his source, Iya Oyo, Eleye, finding its root word in the word Ye, which means something befitting, appropriate, or beautiful. If we decide to go by Professor Moyo's breakdown of Eleye as beautiful people or things, you will agree with me that there is nothing to fear as long as the philosophy of Òṣòròngà is concerned. The philosophy comes into play in women like my mother, who walked barefooted in a bid to rescue a dying daughter, because there is no degree of effort too much for an Abiamo to put in place to rescue their loved ones, even if it comes off as extreme to the word, and hence it earns them the title. Eleye, generations after generations, years after years, women from all walks of life have done extremely amazing, outrageous things in a bid to defend their loved ones from abuse. It's interesting to see that the word Eleye is quite old-fashioned, especially in this Gen Z age, yet we've managed to coin the word feminism to mean a combination of bottom power and witchcraft. How funny it is to think that the quest for gender equality is witchcraft. It's absolutely fine if a man's finances are way stable more than his wife. After all, he's the head of the family. But it's an immediate sign of a witchcraft if a lady amasses wealth, finances, and properties in her name without relinquishing it to her husband. A woman must move into her husband's house, even if he stays on a dunghill. But a man must never move into a woman's house, even if that is the last option available on earth. A man who does such is called a simp, a failure, and such man is said to have fallen victim to the hypnotism of a witch. Eleye. Women should never contest for top political powers, but when men are vying for such posts, women are contacted to aid political rallies. Such is the case of Onilu Wogbagida, who dared to question the status quo and ended up becoming the first and last female Oni of Ife, demonized and vilified by art historians and storytellers, simply because she chose to dare the status quo and then, meted out judgment to people, regardless of the agenda or position in the country. In a power system occupied by men, a woman is always a threat. If we ever choose to be honest, we'll come to understand that the philosophy of Òṣòròngà does not threaten us in any way. That you see a woman, a daughter, a wife, a female friend, a mother as a threat does not make them an actual threat. Instead, it reveals the fact that you have a whole lot of learning, unlearning, and relearning to do with your mind. Behind every woman whom you or someone else have called a witch is a woman who have had to endure catcalling, body shaming, abuse, even to the point of blame games. And what they ask for every time they revolt through their writings, tweet, post, videos, or whatsoever medium is a safe, enabling environment where they can be women without any labels. It's evil to clip a bird's wing and then, blame the bird for not being able to fly. When the bird decides to break free and then fly, you go, hey, look at that. It's going to perch on us. But even then, all the bird desires is the ability to take flight. But all it gets in return is stones being cast endlessly. I do not think that the world will be a better place. I know that the world will be a better place if we all learn to respect, love, and honor women. If we all learn to go by the philosophy of Òṣòròngà, live, love, and honor, there just might be no need for the word protection. Because why would we need the word protection if there is nothing like abuse? You do not need to be an abuser. You do not need to have abused a woman before you are an abuser. If you know an abuser and you've shielded him before, you are equally an abuser. The chain of abuse will only stop when someone decides to stop extending it. A witch, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is a person thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as a woman with a cloak, a black cloak, a hat on a flying broom. But a witch, according to the philosophy of Òṣòròngà, is a woman who feels the need to protect their loved ones at all costs, who speaks up in the presence of abuse and refuses to be suppressed. The society, our political system, and the world as a whole would come to be better if only we learn to respect women, honor women. But then, you have to accept that there is a lot of internal work and relearning, unlearning to do within you. In all sincerity, the people who go about fearing witches and saying terrible things about witches have done way worse things, more than these witches they claim to fear. How do you set innocent birds on fire and beat women to a pulp, then sleep comfortably in your house at the end of the day? The philosophy of Òṣòròngà is probably more holistic to live by than a colonizer's doctrine. For to worship a woman is to worship God. And there is no deity, true, without the sacred skin of a woman involved. I'll wrap up this speech with an excerpt from Odu Osameji, the Osameji corpus, which says, Ẹkúnlẹ̀ fóbìnrin o, hey, obìnrin ló bí wa, káwo tó dènìyàn, ọgbọ́n ayé tobìnrin ní í ṣe. Ẹkúnlẹ̀ fóbìnrin o, obìnrin ló bí wa, káwo tó dènìyàn. Prostrate for a woman. A woman has placed you in the earth, hence, you are humanity. A woman is the intelligence of the earth. Prostrate for a woman. A woman has placed you on earth. Hence, you are humanity.